Mbui, who is the Group Chief Executive Officer and the Managing Director of JPD Consulting Partners. And can I say this? There's a French to it, Le Nouvel Champ d'Œuvre Tropical.
It seems that there's a change in the program.
First, then Junior. Nancy
Oh, is
first.
it Nancy? Oh, yeah, so Miss Nancy. Okay. We will call Miss Nancy Moodley, the Managing Director of Alternative Africa on Digital Transformation and AI for Business in Africa. There's no French to it.
La prochaine intervenante, Nancy Moodley.
Round of applause for Miss Nancy. We've already learned a lot from Miss Nancy, from yesterday's introductions to today's, how she highlighted yesterday. So I think we will learn much more today. So have your cup of coffee next to you. Thank you, Miss Nancy.
Good morning, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to someone this morning just to explain to me that there's free lessons in the French embassy for French, so all our South Africans can actually learn it for free. So I'm going to take you up on that one because I didn't know about it.
Nancy se demandait ce matin quelle était la meilleure façon d'apprendre le français. Elle se disait que certaines ambassades pourraient offrir des cours gratuits de français de manière à donner aux Sud-Africains beaucoup plus de possibilités à pouvoir apprendre. En attendant, elle va faire sa présentation en anglais et on va faire le nécessaire pour la traduction.
Okay, so it's a true honor to be here, and I think from my side, the Tropics Conference is not just a place for us to speak about our careers, what we do, why we're here, and I think it is really about actioning. And Venetia's built something magnificent. And as a female, I would say that my career has always been something where I really pushed the agenda in whichever space I was. I come from a corporate environment. I've been rolling out automation across Africa. So you have a lot of barriers. You have a lot of fears. You're challenged every day. And reality is that we have to, in this continent, as citizens of the continent, we really need to have the courage. We need to dream. We need to dream big. And it is possible. And a lot of times, fear comes from not knowing, from not understanding what is possible. And knowing the digital infrastructure, innovation, and AI, you can understand how rapid it is and how transformational it is. So a mentor of mine always said that if you dream big, if you have a big vision, it changes your perception. Your perception then changes your reality. If you dream small and you use the same effort that you would need to achieve as based on your actual current reality, you're wasting your energy. Because we as a continent, and every citizen that's sitting in here, has a role to play to impact our continent and to take it forward. And digital and automation and AI, I am working with this every day. You can imagine the impact it can make. So from my side, I don't want to talk about how we do digital, because I think you all know it. It's growing exponentially. But I also want to highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yesterday we had somebody from the cybersecurity aspect here, and I'm not sure if she's going to speak today, but reality is that, as much as it's expanding, there is so many different things that we as a country, as businesses, as education systems need to actually fast track. It's accelerating faster than ourselves. It is there to achieve so much of good, but it's also there in a place where, very, very intelligent people actually, criminals that are using it to their advantage. the next generation coming in as well needs to be considered. What are we doing to empower the next generation? What are we doing to ensure that from an AI perspective, that we're not building the next generation of lazy children, of lazy next generation alphas? Reality is we've never come into this room without hard work. Our experiences counted. What we did and the struggles and the challenges we faced to come to this careers or to overcome poverty, all of that, it came through learning and polishing ourselves. The wisdom that we have, the intellect that we have, the skills that we have, it didn't come from us utilizing AI. And you know with ChatGPT, everything can be done with ChatGPT. So your assignments, my master's degree did not give me any leeway. I promise you that today, the professors, the teachers do not know how to actually handle this. What are we doing with our kids? How are we making sure that we're taking cognitive opportunity to actually figure out what do we do in our homes? How do we challenge our children? How do we make sure that they do not become this lazy generation? That they actually want to learn, they want to skill people. And digital transformation and AI in Africa, it's not an enemy. It's not a privilege for the few. It is not the future, it is the present. It is not a silver bullet, but it's a powerful enabler. And how we use it is so important. So my company, which is Alternative Africa, has partnered with an agency that is located in Dubai. We have rolled out across multiple different countries in Africa. But we don't just build digital tools, we build with the human element in the center of it. What is the need? What is the understanding of what are you trying to fix? If you actually understand employee experience and customer experience, a lot of businesses are future-proofing their businesses because they're looking at what their customers need. What are the pain points? How do we make this as seamless as possible? It is a brilliant innovator. It really future-proofs your business. If you actually apply that to citizens across Africa, imagine the fast-tracking of citizen experience that you get. What is an experience? What is customer experience or employee experience or citizen experience? It is the ability to have something seamless. It is the ability to have a wow experience. You want somebody to come to your company and be with you and trust you and have loyalty. South Africa is the same. All the different countries in Africa is the same. As being a citizen in the continent, you want to be able to have access to everything as seamless as possible. You do not want to sit in queues. You do not want to go and waste 2 days or 3 days just to get an application done. But this is, if we actually put our heads together and we combine our skills, imagine the talent that's in this room today, a combined talent. If we actually become humble, remove the ego, remove the pride, remove the competitiveness, imagine what can we achieve as a collective. And not only just, building a solution, building something that has a human element at the end of it, that has humanity in it, something that can be scalable, something that is working in one country can work in multiple countries. Here, an example in South Africa, we have municipalities in different areas. Each municipality has a budget for automation, for transformation. Why? I'm a citizen of a country. If I go to Cape Town, I want to be treated the same way as I'm treated in Durban or I'm treated in Johannesburg. I'm a citizen. I don't belong to a municipality. We're wasting money, there's inefficiencies. There's solutions that are actually working brilliantly in Cape Town. Why aren't we applying it? Why aren't we using it and applying it to the entire country? Why isn't that being applied into other countries? if you look at Estonia, I think Estonia is one of the key countries that every single person in this room would have known. Their e-governance is a next level, but it's a small country. They don't have the challenges that Africa has. But it doesn't mean that you don't benchmark. You use that to say, how do we scale this? How do we take one little element that is going to give a higher impact to our society and shift us? Something that we think is impossible could be actually possible in a year. If we put the right effort, the right strategy, the right understanding of what needs to be actually transformed, with the right people in the room, and collaborate to create something that is going to actually transform. Another element of what I really wanted to bring across is that we as businesses, we all here, whether you're in government, whether you're in business, each of us have, from an economy perspective, really need to actually make money. This world only works with having the finances and the economy. It empowers us to do others. But what do we do to make sure that together with the economy, what is that higher purpose? How does each of us individually support community in some way? One of the key things that I've done, and my business is I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very fortunate because I've got a team of brilliant, brilliant people. But the reality is, I don't want to only use people from Dubai and from Egypt and India and all of that. I want to make sure that, and my vision is to make sure that whatever I do, how do I bring it back to Africa? How do we empower and upskill the talent that we have here? Because everything is possible. And I come from an academic background. I'm very academic. But I can honestly tell you, academia doesn't take you to the level that you need to do to actually deploy something, or roll out something, or build something. It's experience. So if you don't actually intensely have an intention to bring skills, to grow your business, grow the citizen skills in Africa, we're always going to import skills. We're going to import things that we can actually own in our own country. And are we supporting the businesses within our countries, or are we supporting the external, like the Europeans or the Americans? I think it is our responsibility to be able to realize where the strategy, the vision is. How do we actually create clusters of collaborative people? There are people that actually feed within a specific skill set that could actually become an innovation hub, that could actually help transform multiple countries if we collaborate and we work together. So Africa is the only continent that can still leapfrog in many ways. And it actually is an opportunity. It's not a disadvantage, because majority of the world, most of businesses have legacy issues, legacy systems. A lot of Africa doesn't even have systems. So learning from the rest of the world, you can automate, you can create digital economies, you can create AI-driven public services, data-driven governance. And one of the key things that we have is, we are extremely rich with, is data. But the complexity of data for the sake of data is nothing. If you build the intelligence with data science, it actually can build so much of intelligence that your AI solutions, your digital tools, can transform your country, you can transform businesses, you can enable your employees. A lot of companies, people are working extremely hard. I come from a place where I was working 14, 16-hour days. Huge manual input. But that can be eradicated. And the reality is that we're not meant to be living, human beings shouldn't be living in that way. You are employed for a skill, a talent. So where the digital comes in, it literally then empowers you to do what you're actually skilled to do. And the one key thing that I drive very, in a very focused way is that you cannot just build a tool because somebody else has it. It has to be built for a purpose. It has to have a human element in it. And it's supposed to be built in a very practical, responsible way because it must be an enabler to the human element. When we support and supply services to the citizens, to our customers, we need to be able to understand what is that human element, what is the impact to the human behind all the digitization. We need to have love and compassion. And I think one of the key things in every business today that sometimes becomes lacking is how important it is to be able to build a strategy around compassion and having the humanity as the basis of your business or your country. So I'm not going to go into all that I've written here because it's quite a long, I've got a lot of examples, but the reality of it is that if you understand your bigger strategy, if you understand the overall vision, something that will probably have like maybe a 20-year plan. If you look at that 20-year plan, but if you position it in such a way that you are very clear about where you want to go, what do you want to achieve, and if it's big enough, you will be able to break it down into a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 2-year plan, and build it. Nothing is impossible. Everything has a solution. I'm a strategist by profession, but I'm also a strategist by heart because I think it's in my DNA. Every problem has a solution. Not a single problem doesn't have a solution. But we need to take it upon ourselves to ensure that we're building something that is solving a problem, solving a human problem, not just a business problem. And I think when you do things in that manner, you actually, your businesses are just going to grow anyway. The economies will grow, your brand reputation will grow, your country reputation will grow. One of the key things that was mentioned on Brand South Africa was the crime rate, security. There's a lot of criminal element in majority of the countries, but there's ways to eradicate that, and that's technology. If you deploy blockchain, if you actually very intently block all of the gaps that is there from an AI side of it, you build the intelligence, it can use data to track if there's abnormalities, if there's things that are going wrong. It can be predictive, it can it can future-proof anything. It's how we use it, what do we want to build it for, and are we ready for it? I was speaking in the eThekwini municipality in June this year, and it was very sad because a lot of the monies and the budgets that's being used for digital transformation is being used. Where, how, and the impact of it is not being seen. The one initiative that, I spoke in 2 conferences. One was the customer symposium. The people that were in that symposium, the delegates, were the actual frontliners, the people that are supporting the citizens. And to be honest, they get the backlash. The systems don't work for them. How are we using our employees, the people that actually have to face the customer? How do we ensure that they're part of the design? How are they part of the innovation? How are we upskilling every single employee, part of your design? You don't only use a tech team. That is how you mentor, that is how you upskill, that is how you design for the people that are using it and for the customer at the end. Reality is, they've spent millions of rands, but it's not helping in any way. So where's the efficiency in that? Where's the cost efficiency? Where's the accountability in it? The reality of it is there's a huge amount of leapfrogging that we can do. The digital innovation can take a business, a country forward miles ahead. Something that you would think would take 10 years could actually happen in a year because it's so rapid, it's so quick and it's so responsive. But it is important for you to know why you're doing it. What is the impact? Measure it. How is it impacting your employees? How is it impacting the citizen? How is it impacting your customer? What is the return on investment? And reality is that if you look at all businesses, it's evolving as well. The cultural dynamics within organizations are shifting. The humanity becomes more important. Something that has been, forgotten because we are working for stakeholders. It's all become. Okay. I don't want to keep too long, but I think my reality is that my message is, let's each one of us take whatever we do, whether we help one person or whether we help 10 people, together, collaboratively. If we keep that as a goal, as a vision, and we work coherently together and collaborate, this world will become a better one. We leave it to the next generation. We focus our efforts so that the next generation could be empowered. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.